Two groups sponsored this event. They are Beyond War and the Stanford Center on Conflict and Negotiation. These Palestinians and Israelis are educators, journalists, and doctors. One is a retired Israeli military expert. One publishes children's books and has close ties to PLO chairman Yasser Arafat. They are all individuals, but combined they represent a hope for peace.
Many of us may be dulled by the story of Israeli occupation in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. It's not a new one. Palestinians have lived 24 years in the occupied territories. The violence continues.
Everything in our society is affected today by the fact that we are occupiers.
Galit Hassan Rokim is part of the 5-day retreat in the Santa Cruz Mountains. All the participants are working in their own way for peace. In this idyllic setting, they try and accomplish what governments have failed.
If you just look at one family miseries during all this time, you see how much peace is needed.
In small groups, they discussed even the most difficult issues.
I was in one brainstorming group that was just like any brainstorming group. It was some of us from the Americans, the Beyond War and the Stanford Center. There were some Palestinians and some Israelis, and we had a flip chart. And an idea goes up, and somebody says, "Oh yeah, well we could do this. I know somebody who could help with this, or I could put this in my newspaper." So there was a spirit of working together instead of this is one side's position and this is the other side's position.
You have to see the tragedy on both sides. You have to see the sorrow on both sides. You have to see the crying mothers on both sides. And only then you can understand how stupid it is to continue the situation.
And our two people have to forget about their past and have to look to the future. We have to start from the present. If we live shackled with the past, we will never be able to achieve anything.
A handful of Palestinians and Israelis spent 1 week in the Santa Cruz Mountains. They were invited by the Beyond War organization and Stanford University's Center on Conflict and Negotiation. The participants didn't really know what to expect. No one ever dreamed the outcome would be a peace document. Side by side, they sat together on a stage in a Stanford auditorium. Israelis and Palestinians, Jews and Arabs, an improbable event in most situations, a unique moment in these participants' lives. For 5 days, 6 Israelis and 5 Palestinians hammered away at every issue blocking the peace between the two people. It was an extraordinary exercise in human relations that worked.
We went in detail and we came up with a consensus, a unanimous. We did not pass any sentence that we did not all agree on.
The result? A peace document for both sides. It's a compromise and calls for a commitment to a just and lasting peace for the two nations, enjoying self-determination, mutual recognition, and security.
We do not deceive ourselves that we have achieved peace. There is a lot of work yet to be done, and we took it upon us to do the work too, because there is a lot of stereotyping of both people.
These are educators and journalists and doctors and military experts. They all work in their own way for peace, and on this platform they work together, each one ready to continue the work.
So, the paper is written, it's here, and I think now it's our duty to go back home, both sides, and try to see what we can do about it.
A standing ovation from the audience as the participants signed the agreement. The PLO also approved the plan. And even though this agreement does not have the official backing of the Israeli government, members say one day it may.
I believe that this document, as it is now, is going to be the basis, maybe the exact copy of the peace agreement one day between Israel and the Palestinians.
This agreement is being circulated throughout the world tonight, and Beyond War sent a copy to every member of Congress.